Friday. We made it to the end of the week. I appreciate y'all. Let's get into it. Lunch and News with DotSale. Yeah. We got another one closing out week 10. We got to talk about the Trump-Mamdani meeting. Gonna touch on that a little bit. Pause. Talk about that a little bit. What happened to? Okay. Trying to unblur myself. I want y'all going into the weekend with clarity. I want y'all to be able to have clear vision as you go into the weekend. So the first thing I got to do is make sure that y'all have a good meal going into Friday night. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's take y'all over to it. What y'all think we're having? Something a little bit different. Nice, warm, wholesome meal going into the weekend. Lasagna soup.
Lasagna soup. I don't buy the lasagna and break it up. I just buy rigatoni pasta. It's the same thing. I just don't have to bother with the whole breaking up the pasta thing. And one time when I did that, I cut my hand. So I cut my finger. I just do rigatoni. You will need a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, 1 jar of marinara sauce, 1 whole onion, Italian seasoning, half a cup of heavy whipping cream, some garlic, beef broth, and some cheeses. I think you add this towards the end. And then 2 pounds of ground beef. So let's get started. Of course, I will show you guys my Dutch oven. This is the Drew Barrymore Dutch oven. You can find this at Walmart, but I knew you guys, when it comes to my pasta pans, you guys love to ask about those. And that's where I got it from. My husband got it for me for Christmas like 2 years ago. And I love it. She's still going strong, nice and strong. So
Why my link didn't go up?
I hope you get to try this recipe. It was so easy to make. The only chopping you really had to do was the onions. So it's perfect for a weeknight dinner or the weekend, but I do think it's perfect for fall. Very easy to make right here. I am also filming this for TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts. So if you follow me on any of those platforms, which I'm sure if you follow me here on YouTube, you will see it on YouTube Shorts. It will be on there as well. So that's why you guys will see the stand. I was recording on my phone at the same time, but very easy recipe to make. I will have the link to the recipe in my description box. This one is definitely a keeper. It was my first time making it and everyone enjoyed it and actually went back for seconds. So it did not give me enough for the next day. I had to end up cooking something else, which is completely fine. That's no big deal. I just love it when everyone gets to enjoy a good meal at the same time. This fall season has gone by so fast. Honestly, I feel like I haven't had a chance to really...
You can definitely go plant-based. I want to switch this up too real quick. Hold on. Let's go to the finished product on this real quick. Let's get straight to it. She does a lot of talking and stuff. You can even see her at different points washing dishes. She go through the whole... She teach you how to wash dishes too. If we had more time, we would absolutely... watch all of it. We can watch this little last part.
I go through periods of second guessing myself, and then I psych myself out to the point I start messing up. I now forget my choreography completely. I could get it right and practice and get it correct, and then I start doing it when the music starts playing. I completely forget everything, and I have been struggling with that lately. So just keep me in prayer, and hopefully I could just get through this hurdle.
All right, let's stop it right there. Lasagna soup is what we have. We have a big, huge pot of it. Plenty for everyone. Go ahead and have as much as you would like. I always make sure that y'all are fed and taken care of over here at Lunch and News with DotSale. Let's go ahead and talk about what's going on with Zoran and the president, Trump, and elect Mayor Mamdani. A lot of people are upset. Mostly the news, though, from what I've seen so far. A couple people on TikTok that are upset as those videos start to get uploaded. because people expected these two to be fighting like cats and dogs. That's what they expected. That's what they expected, but they didn't get it. These two came very, very kind to one another, and a lot of people were upset, mostly the mainstream news. Let's go ahead and I want to go to this guy first because he shows a lot of the main points where the news were trying to agitate the two, and it didn't work with their questions. And then afterwards, after that, right, they were very upset in their post-meeting commentary, and we'll check that out as well.
Not hatred.
I do is going to be good for New York. If I can get prices down, it's good for New York.
Here's some of the relevant
and we
points.
got them down, way down from last year. We have, as you know, I've been saying to a lot of people, Walmart said that Thanksgiving this year is exactly 25% less than last year. So that's good for New York, good for everybody. But I just want to congratulate. I think you're going to have hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am, I will say. There's no difference in party. There's no difference in anything. And we're going to be helping him to make everybody's dream come true, having a strong and very safe New York. And congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
I appreciated the meeting with the
I don't
president.
like that.
As he said, it was a productive meeting focused on a place of shared admiration and love, which is New York City, and the need to deliver affordability to New Yorkers, the 8.5 million people who call our city their home, who are struggling to afford life in the most expensive city in the United States of America. We spoke about rent, we spoke about groceries, we spoke about utilities, we spoke about the different ways in which people are being pushed out, and I appreciated the time with the president, I appreciated the conversation. I look forward to working together to deliver that affordability for New Yorkers.
Thank you very much. Any questions, please?
President Trump, Stephen Nelson from the New York Post. I've got a question for you and then also one for the mayor-elect. For you, you referred to Mr. Mamdani as a communist. Could you describe why you feel that way? And also...
Now, I just want to preface to say that these two this is before the questions were taken. They just had basically 20, 30 minutes of them doing nothing but praise and talking about working with one another and doing what's best for the American people. Immediately, the first question from a news reporter was to ask about the insults that were thrown around as if they were still relevant based off of the communication that they had. They're standing right next to each other. And there's a little bit about the dynamics that, if you look at the body language between the two. But let's go ahead and finish up the rest of this.
Will you do anything to stop him from arresting Prime Minister Netanyahu if he visits New York?
Well, we didn't discuss your second part of the question. And on your first part, I mean, he's got views that are a little out there, but who knows? I mean, we're going to see what works, or he's going to change also. We all change. I changed a lot. From when I first came to office. It's now quite a while ago. It's quite a while. My first term was great. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We're doing even better now. We're doing much better now than we did even the first term. And I can tell you some of my views have changed. And we had discussions on some things. I'm not going to discuss what they were, but that I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually. And some very liberal people he won't surprise them because they already like him.
And Mr. Mamdani.
And the conservatives are actually seeming like they're more upset. It seems like the conservatives are upset and the media, the mainstream media, which hate Donald Trump, almost all of them, are very upset. The liberals are actually taking a W right here. And a lot of their commentary so far has been Mamdani basically worked Donald Trump, ran game on him, worked his charm, and got Donald Trump to basically adhere to everything that he wants him to do. And humbled Donald Trump even, some are saying.
It sounds like you had a productive discussion, but just days ago you referred to President Trump as a despot who had betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting. Maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yes, please.
Mr. President, Anthony Marshak from MTV Lebanon.
This is crazy, y'all.
I would
This
like
is
to ask you a question about the
unprecedented.
Middle East regarding you that said that Hezbollah in Lebanon is not in a good position. And
Did you hear that? Very calmly taking that behind whooping from Zoran Mamdani, a liberal, a radical leftist. And guess what? You, MAGA, will be getting along with him as well. All of the shenanigans came to a screeching halt today. W to the Democrats and L to MAGA, because guess what?
Whoa!
America wants solutions, not hatred. And Zoran Mamdani seems to be the one able to deliver that message to your dear leader, who is trickling it down to you. See what happens when you take your eyes off the prize and keep spewing hatred and nonsense? You end up taking these L's. The showdown between Zoran.
What y'all thinking about that? They're saying that the liberals got the W. The conservatives is taking an L. They said Zoran Mamdani pulled up to the White House and was like, all right, I'm standing on what I said. Now what? And, everybody thought that, when Zoran pulled up to the White House and Trump was right there and he was all up in his space, it was going to be a different type of look. But Zoran pulled up and Trump said, you know what? I'm humbled. I like Zoran. Let's go ahead and hear from a couple more of the people. And I want to hear from the actual news, because the news, they didn't know what to do. The news was tripping. But let's go ahead and listen to this woman real quick. She has some things to say.
Just watched the Trump and Mamdani meeting in the White House, because
this is a liberal. She does not like Trump.
Mamdani called Trump a fascist to his face, basically. A reporter asked him if he stood by his word, saying that Trump was a fascist right in front of Trump, and he started to answer, and Trump didn't even let him finish and said, it's okay, you can say yeah, haha, and laughed, and Mamdani was like, yeah. And other key highlights is Trump was sucking up to him the entire time. I've never seen someone lick someone's boots the way that Trump was licking Mamdani's boots, and kept saying he wanted him to do well, said that he wouldn't hold back funding, which he had said at a different point, said that they had a great conversation, that people would be surprised about their great conversation, that people were more excited about this meeting than any meeting he's had with other, international leaders. People don't care, but people cared about this meeting. I think this really shows the impact that Mamdani is making and progressive policies are making, and I think that Trump sees that. And Trump sees that his time in office may even be limited with this Epstein thing. Who knows? But I think he's realizing that he's going to have to play the game. I mean, we all know that Trump is a malignant narcissist, a pathological liar, and he's very good at schmoozing and being fake, and that's what he did the entire time. But there's a reason why he was doing that. His favorability is on the floor right now, and people are loving Mamdani. Globally, they're loving him. So I think that was a win for Mamdani. What do you guys think? Did anyone else watch it? Did anyone just watch?
Okay. All right. The liberals are claiming victory. And MAGA's upset. Now, I haven't been over to X because, you know, that's where a lot of the conservatives is at, over on X. And so they probably going crazy over there right now. But I did have this one video that I want to go ahead and pull up.
We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see housing being built. He wants to see rents coming down, all things that I agree with.
Yeah.
And we may disagree how we get there, the rent coming down. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
You said you love New York City.
We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see housing being built. He wants to see rents coming down, all things that I agree.
Hold on. I don't want to play that. I want to play this. Hold on. Let me play this real quick.
My administration would be Donald Trump's worst nightmare. I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker. I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers.
So you're hearing it right here. Mamdani still keeping a pretty firm tone, but understanding he's going to be right in President Trump's face. So he's not going all the way in. But right now, the liberals are saying that they're winning. Now I want to go to this the news coverage that was directly after the Mamdani and Trump meeting and see how flabbergasted and flustered they are with the outcome of the meeting. Let's go ahead and play this. I'll put it on faster mode to play quicker.
Care about that, but I don't particularly. I think I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again. And I can say again, because.
And remember, all they've said is that Zoran Mamdani is not rational. They've called him all kind of things. I'll give you a couple of the things that Trump has said. Trump has said about Mamdani, called him a communist, said his victory would mean the city had lost its sovereignty. Talked about his speech when Mamdani called him out after he won. I think he should be very nice to me. He's off to a bad start. He also said it's going to be between a bad Democrat and a communist when he was talking about the pick ahead. And also said, quote unquote, 100% communist lunatic. Now, Mamdani has also said, quote unquote, he is Donald Trump's worst nightmare. He is a progressive Muslim immigrant who actually fights for the things that he believes in. And he also called the ICE raids that Trump is very passionate about an attack on democracy and intimidation. And also told Trump to turn the volume up. So, a couple things that they've said about each other.
Because New York was great.
But let's get to the news because they are actually really upset.
You know, I'll tell you, a lot of political pundits probably never expected this would be the outcome. It was not just cordial. You saw President Trump actually complimentary to a man that right during the campaign they had been completely on opposite ends and adversaries, to say and put it mildly, in terms of the things that they said about each other.
Yeah, President saying that Zoran Mamdani, quote, I think he's different than your average candidate, very rational, that they share a purpose of making sure that that New York City and New Yorkers are put in the best situation. They discussed cost of living, affordability, ICE coming into New York City, troops in New York City, the Middle East, housing and crime. They hit on a number of topics.
Now, they admitted that they're not going to see eye to eye on every topic, but the question now is how long will this honeymoon last? Let's get into NJ Burkett, who is live right now outside the White House, watching this entire meeting and this press conference as well, and bring him in on this. NJ?
Yeah, that's right, Dave. That's a very good question. The other question I have is, what is Mamdani actually getting out of this? Did he walk away with a list of promises from the president besides his promise to work with him? But there is no question about it. This was one jaw-dropping hour in the Oval Office this afternoon. Any concern, Dave, that this meeting was going to go sideways was put to rest in just the past few minutes. One quote from President Trump, I think, explains all of this and really encapsulates it very well. He says, I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. It really was an extraordinary meeting, a remarkable development, given that these these two men had been going at each other for the better part of 6 months. Trump was calling him a communist. Mamdani was calling him an authoritarian. So when they finally sat down in the Oval Office, I think that it was Mamdani's personality, his sincerity, his ingratiating nature that seemed to have won over President Trump. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happened in the first few minutes. Let's talk about what they talked about. The key issue for Mamdani throughout the campaign, and probably in this meeting, was the issue of affordability. Here's how it went.
We're going to be helping him to make everybody's dream come true, having a strong and very safe New York. And congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Please.
I appreciated the meeting with the president to deliver
Superlatives to describe Zoran Mamdani. Trump said several times that he is a good man. I think you're going to have, hopefully, a really great mayor. It seemed at times that the president was going to run out of superlatives to describe Zoran Mamdani. They talked about everything on Mamdani's list: housing, policing, crime in the city, and as I...
The news is very mad right now. They were hoping to have an explosive fight so they could have something to cover that would be controversial over the weekend, and they have nothing. All the premeditated lines and stages that they had set up for this are not going to be used at this point. And you could just see the frustration in the mainstream news. So I'm actually very curious to see how everything turns out going into Saturday and how the narrative shift. But right now, at this point, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, I got to get out of here. But right now, at this point, it's looking like dub for the liberals and an L for the conservatives. And we're going to get a lot more from the people who I like to hear from. And we're seeing a lot of opinions trickle in of a lot of people being upset. So I'm absolutely excited to see how this all plays out. Let's go ahead and get to our positive story. Actually, let me go here real quick. All right, let's go here. So we got this family that was created, and I think this story was great. So I want to start off just showing a picture of them, and then let's go ahead and see how they came together. Foster advocate, adopted mom says 1 year of mentoring little girl turned into a 30-year relationship. Very nice.
To come by. Lots of those kids are going from family to family to family. Well, earlier today, I sat down with foster advocate and adoptive mom, Deborah Olivia Farmer. She's also an author, who says that 1 year of mentoring a little girl in foster care turned into a 30-year relationship and a foundation for her to adopt her son, Joshua, that you're seeing in these photos. Farmer says that there are so many more children that need supportive homes.
And so when I look at the numbers, 400,000 children in the system, right? You can look at the breakdown. What is that percentage of African-American children that are in the system, right? There's 20% in the system of African-American children. And so I think that's just a large number, and we can do something about that. If it's on your heart to be a mother, don't stay in a space of fear. Move into that place where you can get information. Go to an agency and find out how you can become a parent through the foster care system. Children need us.
Such important information. This is just part of our conversation. We will be posting the full thing online. And she'll also be our voice of the voter this week. You can catch her episode this Sunday at 11 a.m. right after Meet the Press. Zach and I will see you there for the Georgia vote.
Yeah. Yep, they'll see you there for the vote, and we will see this family continue to thrive. I think that it's deeper than just somebody being your blood family. I think you can create relationships with people in many ways, and a lot of the people that I have had great relationships with have not been my blood family, right? I mean, half of them I never really got a chance to be close to because we were separated when I was a young lad, and then the other half I didn't get to meet until much later in my life. So I developed relationships with people that weren't necessarily blood or biological family, and I think that just goes to show that you can make every situation work if you're willing to have an open heart and be okay with it. So, I look at a lot of these people, and I just think that they're doing great things. You know, I like to see that this boy has a mother at this point, and he's able to get that love and receive it, because that is a very important thing for us as human beings, and it could possibly keep us away from doing demonic things in life. So great story, quick show, but I definitely wanted to make sure that I attended to y'all and got y'all fed. So go ahead and enjoy your lasagna soup. You got plenty of that right there. Take as much as you want. Can have leftovers over the weekend if you like. And I'm actually gonna go with plant-based cheese instead of the regular mozzarella. I'm not doing dairy. And then I'm gonna go plant-based meat too, but that's just me. Anyways, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are incredible. Have an excellent weekend. Put out some videos over the weekend, I'm pretty sure. So I won't be all the way gone. But as far as the lives, this might be it until Monday. Going into Thanksgiving weekend. Do y'all celebrate Thanksgiving? I know a lot of people don't necessarily like it just because of the history of it. I don't know. It's all about what you make it. I try to be more positive than negative on most things. That's just my mindset. I hope that you have that same mindset going into the weekend. I appreciate y'all. I am DotSale, and I'm out. Peace.